Now, starting off over at tip ranks, we do have an average price target here of 27.25, a high of 34, a low of 20. And if you look here to the right, we do have John Walsh Credit Suisse at a $34 buy rating, and that was 6 days ago. All these other ones are a little bit older, like the $20 price targets, the 25. Those were back when the stock was a lower price and quite a few months ago. So I'd pay more attention to these more recent ones. Now, looking at John Walsh's profile, you will see that he is ranked 159 out of 7,700 analysts, and his success rate is a 77%, giving him 142 out of 185 ratings being successful, with an average return of 27.3%. Very good stuff here. You will see that he reiterated a buy rating on Matterport about 6 days ago as of this video. So something to take note of. This is the most recent price target by an analyst, and it's just something to consider. Now, I will touch on the stock real quick from a technical standpoint before we get into a couple of negatives that you guys got to look out for. Now, I would prefer to pick this up at the 100-day. This is the yellow line here. So right around 25 potentially, I would start building a position out. I will disclose that I currently don't have any Matterport. I do have a little bit of Facebook or Meta, and I do like picking that up in the low 300s, popping it around 350. It seems to have been working so far. But looking at the RSI, it is pretty much in the middle across the board. You will see there's really not much there for the RSI. I think we're in a pretty safe place, although I personally would wait on this one. Maybe pick up a little bit at the 100-day just to get some exposure to it for the long term. But short term, I feel like in the next couple months, this can potentially come down the low 20s, maybe touch that 200-day. It does like to bounce off the 200-day typically if it does break that 100-day. They did miss their revenue just a little bit, and they did beat their earnings though, and we're going to get into a few of the negatives here. And of course, guys, I will leave you links below to everything that I go over. Now, according to Seeking Alpha, they say we are also starting to see lowered guidance and should expect a quarter-over-quarter revenue decline in Q4 of 2021. Matterport should simply not be valued as a high growth company until they can show high revenue growth. And another thing to look out for is that investors should also prepare for the end of lockup and share dilution that will put downward pressure on an inflated stock price. And this lockup period will end on January 18th, 2022. Which this will basically give the ability for insiders to sell their shares. That lockup period will be over, meaning that they can sell what they want to sell. Not necessarily that they will, but there's a very high likelihood that they will want to make some money and take some profits here. And at its current price, all of these different tranches, they're called, will potentially trigger, meaning 23 million shares could potentially be issued by the company. And another thing to take note of is their partnership with Facebook or Meta platforms has only resulted in a free data set for research and not revenue. But there is potential that Facebook decides that they like what they see, and they could partnership up and make Matterport more money and build up that market cap. And speaking of market cap, we are right here at about 6.6 billion. I would love for this to come down under 6 billion. I do think it is a little overvalued where it's at. And with the negative catalyst coming up here in 2022 January, I would prefer to get this maybe towards February, but I don't think it's a bad idea to start a very small position and slowly just average in. But I'm definitely not going to just throw a huge chunk of money at this one. I would personally wait on it. See that the show Love It or List It is actually using Matterport's technology, and we're going to get right into a little virtual tour here just to kind of let you guys see what we're dealing with Matterport and what they do. But you can see this is a rendered whole house design by Matterport, and you can go ahead, walk through. You see something you like, you can click on it, go ahead and buy it. Kind of interesting stuff. You can definitely see the possibility of different companies featuring their products. We walk through the kitchen. You can go ahead and check out these chairs if you were interested in them. This nice chandelier, the drapes, even the countertops. Click on that. It takes you over here to the counters that were supplied for this house. And yeah, I think it's quite interesting. There really isn't another company that I know of that does this kind of thing. They are kind of the only company of its kind, which is a good thing to see. And another thing to quickly look at here is that their subscribers have increased, but it's mostly the free subscribers. But that does give them more exposure to their brand, more exposure to just what they're capable of doing. And some of these free subscriptions could turn into paid subscriptions over time potentially. But it's just another thing to take note of. They do seem like they're growing their subscription base, and that's a good thing to see. I will be watching Matterport next week coming up, and potentially building out a position, getting something started out, and just getting some exposure to this, because considering how much cryptos have ran with the whole metaverse thing, I see this running up as well into the future. I think that there is negative catalysts coming forwards though that will probably suppress the price up until those catalysts are over, or up until we figure out what the insiders want to do with that share lockup. But what do you guys think about Matterport? I currently don't have any, but I am considering building out a small position and just slowly dollar cost averaging over this one, because long term, I feel like this is going to be a good one, but short term, I feel like we will see some volatility. We could potentially see this come down and touch that 200-day, or come down even further. Volume is dropping, which isn't the best sign. But let me know, guys, what you're doing in the comments below. Do you currently hold Matterport? Are you thinking about it? But thanks again, guys, as always, and I will see you next time.